Dolls and dollhouses are a classic symbol of childhood innocence and imagination, but they have also become prominent fixtures in horror cinema. Whether you played with Barbie dolls, action figures, or puppets, these toys are often twisted into tools of terror, a trope that has been played out in movies for years, and our fascination with creepy dolls doesn't seem to be fading. But why? What makes dolls such an obvious go-to for filmmakers and horror enthusiasts? It must be more than just a bankable scare. So in today's video, we're going to take a deeper look into the psychological, cultural, and aesthetic dimensions that make dolls and dollhouses so compelling in today's culture and film. The psychological uncanny. One of the main reasons dolls evoke horror is rooted in the concept of the uncanny, or the uncanny valley. This theory suggests that a humanoid object appearing almost but not exactly like a real human can evoke feelings of eeriness or revulsion. Dolls, with their lifelike yet lifeless appearances, straddle the line between animate and inanimate, triggering that eerie sensation in us. Their lifeless eyes and rigid smiles mimic human features, but lack the vitality of living beings, creating a sense of unease. This discomfort has been exploited in horror films for years, most recently with the release of Smile, where the uncanny is amplified by static expressions that never change. Clowns are another great example of the uncanny. Although human, their painted faces obscure our ability to truly read them. With a juxtaposition of a sad face and a painted smile, it's hard to read what their intentions are, good or bad, so often result in an uncomfortable presence. With this theory exploited in film over the years, often unnerving on purpose, but sometimes it happens unwillingly. As advancements in animations continue to rise, humans start to become unrecognizable from animated ones. And I think we'll find that the rise in this technology, the rise in robotics and AI, it will get much harder to detect, and we will feel the effects of the uncanny valley more and more. Or you could argue less, depending on how good it really becomes. Can we trick our own brains? But why do we get these feelings in the first place? Some suggest it's linked to our fear of death. Think of how robots or animations are often described as having a dead cold stare, or looking soulless. Other theories propose that this instinct is there to help us identify the dead or diseased, to keep us safe. We develop a fear response, while other theories suggest it may imply the existence of a predator that mimicked humans to get closer to us. Whatever the reason, our brains are finely tuned to detect the unnatural, which explains our discomfort when movies play up to this. I'm curious though, did you have an initial discomfort with dolls as a child, or do you think that was influenced purely by media? Let me know in the comments. Childhood inversion. Dollhouses and dolls are traditionally associated with childhood innocence and play. In horror films, they often symbolise the inversion of this innocence, playing on our memories and transforming objects that once gave us comfort and happiness into instruments of fear. Think about that old doll in your attic that you now question every time you watch a horror movie like Chucky, or did you ever think that your toys would come alive when you go to sleep? I blame Toy Story for that one. But for me, it was the Ghostbusters ventriloquist dummy, Slappy, that scared me the most. What about you? Which doll-like character terrified you as a kid? Anyway, the subversion of childhood innocence isn't just limited to dolls and toys. Possessed children, ghost kids, fun fairs, clowns, storybooks, imaginary friends, and ballet come to mind. There are many ways film plays on this. Heck, even Winnie the Pooh isn't safe. Twisting these elements, let's tap into our primal fears about safety and the sanctity of childhood and the home. The idea that something as harmless as a doll or as innocent as a child could harbour malevolent forces makes us question our own personal surroundings, making the horror feel way more intimate and pervasive. It also taps into our fears of losing control over our surroundings and its rules, something childhood imaginative play and learning is all about for many kids. So when these toys come to life on the big screen, you're bound to feel anxious. The miniature aesthetic. Miniatures are heavily used in film production, but the dollhouse as an image with their intricate details and miniature world offer a unique aesthetic ripe for creating unease. The real-life craftsmanship of dollhouses and miniatures is often seen as an artistic celebration of detail, but in horror, this meticulousness can be subverted to help enhance it. But how does a cutesy dollhouse do this? Psychological impact. Miniatures allow for a different kind of horror that play on viewers' perception of reality. Their detailed, hyper-realistic nature makes the horror feel much more personal and intimate, inviting that closer inspection, revealing hidden horrors and anomalies. Symbolic control. Miniature makers create worlds where every detail is controlled and manipulated. This is very similar themes that are explored in horror films, with dollhouses in particular. This control can be twisted into narratives of manipulation and entrapment, with characters at the mercy of larger unseen forces. Aesthetic appeal. The visual appeal of miniatures lies in their ability to replicate the real world in uncanny detail. This meticulousness can be subverted to reveal hidden horrors, turning the beauty of craftsmanship into a source of fear. The confined spaces of a dollhouse can also mirror the claustrophobic and trapped feelings of characters within the story. Narrative device. As narrative devices, dollhouses allow filmmakers to explore themes of surveillance, control, and confinement. They can reveal motives, foreshadow events, and delve into the mindset of villains or supernatural forces. The obsessive perfectionism and attention to detail needed to create miniatures can also easily be flipped to reflect the traits of an enemy. Films like Hereditary and The Haunting of Bly Manor play with these concepts brilliantly. However, in reality, miniaturists love the craft for its artistic value and the escapism it provides. Interestingly, I've found it's rare that miniaturists use dolls in their finished creations. Is it because dolls are hard to make and scale, or is it just too creepy to have them in your masterpiece? If you're a miniaturist, let us know in the comments why you leave your dollhouses uninhabited. Cultural symbolism. Culturally, dolls and dollhouses carry significant symbolic weight. They often reflect societal norms and family structures, which can be distorted in horror to highlight dysfunctions within a family or society. A haunted dollhouse might symbolize a fractured home with rooms harboring dark secrets or unresolved traumas. Historically, dolls have also been associated with various rituals and superstitions, from voodoo practices to protective talismans. These historical connections imbue dolls with a mystical and sometimes sinister aura, making them amazing tools for horror narratives. The folklore surrounding cursed or possessed dolls also feeds into our collective unconscious, providing that rich material for filmmakers to draw upon. So it seems our obsession with dolls in horror won't end anytime soon, whether you're over it or not. By transforming these objects of play into sources of fear, filmmakers can successfully tap into our deep psychological and societal anxieties, reflecting those shadows that lurk within the familiar and scaring us witless. As horror continues to evolve, the dark allure of these childhood artifacts will undoubtedly remain a powerful tool in the genre's arsenal. and will perhaps only get scarier as technology takes us into uncharted waters. If you enjoyed this analysis, be sure to give the video a like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which doll horror movies freak you out the most. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.